What's good, everybody? Welcome to the To The Hoop podcast. I'm Isaiah. This is Jake. Let's get it going. We're back with more playoff basketball.
Yes, sir.
Okay. A couple series have ended. We got a couple second round matchups to look forward to. How are you enjoying the playoffs so far?
Man, I'm really enjoying the playoffs. Some really close series, some close games, some really competitive basketball, and some good highlights. I'm really enjoying them, man. How are you liking them?
My Lakers are out.
Yeah, that's
so
always tough, man.
I'm crying listening to random LeBron songs. But besides that, I've been really enjoying watching it now because now that my team is out of the playoffs, I can watch it as a fan.
That's fair,
of
yeah.
basketball in general rather than just like a Laker fan, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been cool. OKC got the sweep.
Yeah.
I mean,
what else can you say? I mean, that team is they're.
I mean, what were the Grizzlies gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah.
But they await the winner of Nuggets versus Clippers. Nuggets versus Clippers, Game 7.
Yeah, man.
That series has been fire.
Yeah.
Who do you have in Game 7? Who's taking the win?
Man, I know last episode my pick was Denver, right? Mm-hmm. But after seeing some of the stuff that I saw last game, bro, like that Nick Batum adjustment that Ty Lue made in the second half, starting him in the second half, was huge for that team. And Nick Batum is such a solid player. He does all the dirty work that you need to complement your star players because your stars are going to be your stars.
We'll never ask why he's in the game again.
Never will ask, man. He came in and did some dirty work last game. I love the defense. Even if he couldn't stop Jokic, he contained him when he played defense on him even. Mm-hmm. So I like the adjustment that the Clippers have been making on the Nuggets. I think I have the Clippers winning this series now, man.
Okay.
I've changed my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might be in agreement with you. I want Denver to win. And as a Lakers fan, that hurts me to say.
Yeah.
But I want Denver to win because I want that second round matchup of SGA versus Jokic.
Ooh, yeah.
I think that matchup would be phenomenal.
Prime time, yeah.
OKC versus Denver will be a great matchup to watch.
Mm-hmm.
The Clippers would still be a good matchup to watch. Yeah. But I would want to see that OKC versus Denver. So I'm pulling for Denver, man.
I like that.
I think that they still have Westbrook and the others are going to be the biggest thing for them to win that game. Yeah. For them to win Game 7. I think that the role players have done their thing. But to go Game 7, I think that Jokic and Murray have to ball out.
Mm-hmm.
Jokic and Murray have to ball out. Kawhi and James Harden have to ball out.
Norman Powell has to show up.
Yeah, Norman Powell has to show up for the Clippers to win.
Exactly.
He has to. And he helped out in that game saver, basically, to win the game last game. And Norman Powell hasn't had the greatest series. So I'm really curious to see if he shows up in Game 7 or if the lights are too bright.
Yeah.
On the Nugget side, they need a triple-double out of Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
Just a 10-10-10. You know, they don't need anything crazy, but they need him to go out there and be the X factor. Go out there and keep some energy up, get some good defensive plays. They're gonna have to get Michael Porter Jr.
He's gonna have to show up. Yeah.
He has to get going early so that way they're a threat. And then Jokic and Murray are just gonna have to take over that game completely. Like I think they're just gonna have to go out and ball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious to see who wins that game, and I'm gonna be tuned in.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be tuned into it, man.
Mm-hmm.
We got another Game 7 with Rockets Warriors coming up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is gonna win Rockets Warriors?
Dude, that's another one that last episode I think my prediction was the Warriors, and then I watched Houston. Last game.
Game 6, yeah.
Fred VanVleet, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Fred VanVleet has been playing at a different level, like a level that I wasn't even quite sure if he could reach, man.
That's playing.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, bro. Fred VanVleet, and then that's just kind of like it's rubbing off on his teammates the way that his teammates are playing. Sengun is still Sengun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. to go back to Houston on top of that for Game 7.
Oh yeah, if they were in Golden State.
If they were in Golden State, I'm not sure. But Game 7 in Houston, I think I'm going with Houston, bro. I think so. I think I'm going with Houston.
I have exactly the opposite take.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay.
Genuinely. I think the Warriors are experienced.
That's very true.
And I think that the lights are going to be bright on a very young Houston Rockets team.
Yeah.
I think they're a great team, but I think that they probably just, they just need like a couple more years to gel into what they should be. The Warriors, though, are always a problem. Game 7, you have Steph and Jimmy back. That's going to be tough to guard. Draymond's been excellent on defense. He has been phenomenal. He's been making all the right plays, all the right switches, all the right reads. I gave Draymond Green a lot of crap earlier on the pod for kind of just running around a lot.
Yeah.
Which he does definitely do. But sure. I've watched him a lot in this playoff series. And just this season in general. He has turned into a great defender on breaking plays up. There's been a lot of times where you see a team is going for a mismatch and Draymond will switch that. Like, he's like, oh no, you're switch that out before the mismatch happens. He's outright pushing people into place. And I love that on defense from him. I just think the Warriors are so experienced that I just don't know if the Rockets are going to be ready for that with those lights that bright. I'm curious to see how it pans out, though, because the Rockets could definitely win that game. And this is another thing where it's like, as a Laker fan, I was pulling for the Rockets because I wanted to see an inexperienced Rockets team in the second round rather than an experienced Golden State team in the second round. But now that the Lakers are out and I don't got to worry about it, I want to see the Warriors in the second round against the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
I think it would be a great matchup. It would be cool to watch. I would want to see what adjustment Steve Kerr makes to that play that the Wolves are so prone to. So yeah, I'm pulling Warriors in Game 7. Next, we gotta talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, but we have to talk about it, man. The Wolves took care of my Lakers, man. Yeah. I've seen a lot of the bad part about being a Laker fan is that we have one of the worst fan bases in the world. We're so like win now driven that all year we've been hearing Austin Reeves the best third option in the league, which he is. He's one of the best third options in the league.
Yeah. Very talented.
You hear a lot about JJ being a great head coach and how he's engaged and yada yada. Then we lose that series, and the very first things I see on social media are, "This is JJ Redick's fault." Blah 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 blah. Trade Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves is up for trade, and it's like, dog, like it's okay. Reeves had a bad series. I give you that. JJ had a couple coaching adjustments he did not make. Game 6. Playing that 5 for the whole second half is tough. But I think the mindset behind it is we were up, I think, 10-12 most of the second half. By the time, I think JJ wanted those guys to push it to 15, 18, and then he'd sub some of them out and get some back in. I don't think his intention the entire time was to run that 5 the entire time. But by the time that the Wolves made that run to take the lead or to even tie the game, it was like 2 minutes left. And, you can't look at Luka Doncic and go, yeah, yanking you out with 2 minutes left to get some rest. It's like, sorry, by that. He took a gamble, and by the time it was not working out, it was too late. Game 7, not playing Jackson Hayes was a mistake. It's a mistake by a rookie head coach, though. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think we all have to look at this is JJ Redick's first year being a head coach of an NBA team. I don't know if JJ Redick has ever coached a team before, like just in general. So, like, NBA team is a big ask, but not playing Hayes was a weird move. Hayes didn't have a great series. He'd been in foul trouble all series. He wasn't really helping out all series, but I do feel like that lineup that we usually run without Hayes, everybody on the floor is 6'8". So against any other team, that lineup kind of works out. The Wolves had the board break of Rudy Gobert, but Rudy Gobert, up to that point in the series, hadn't really been doing anything offensively. You know what I mean? He grabbed a couple boards, maybe have a block or two there, but maybe 4 points. Yeah. You know? Mm-hmm. So, like, we obviously can't let him go for 27.
Yeah.
I think that by the time Gobert was at, like, 10 and 10, JJ should have inserted Hayes just to fight for boards. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you go out there and foul out. I don't care if you score a single point. You're going to go out there. You're going to get defensive boards. You're going to stop. You just stop offensive boards from Rudy. You go out there. You challenge shots. That's all we need. Just go out there and cause some havoc. Mm-hmm. And I think that would have been a better game plan. But all in all, 50-win season, 3rd seed, get Luka. This is a win of a season for us.
100%.
I don't think anyone who's like an actual like basketball fan who watches games thought the Lakers were about to win the chip. You know what I mean? Like we weren't going. I would have been surprised if we were Western Conference Finals. I think that I personally wanted us to go out 2nd round, just so I wouldn't have to hear all of this random BS. But 1st round exit, it sucks. But looking towards the future, I think you give us a full training camp with that LeBron Luka team. Keep Reeves up to speed. Add in a big, and I would honestly keep Hayes. Keep Hayes for a backup big. Jackson Hayes is a great backup big. Yeah. He's just not a starting center. Mm-hmm. But I think we add a decent big and give us a full training camp. I think next season we're going to be a problem.
Yeah, I agree.
On the opposite side of that, Anthony Edwards. 2 years consecutively is walking down legends. Okay?
Knocking him down,
He is walking down legends, man. He did KD. He got Bron. And I would love to see the Ant v. Steph matchup. Obviously they're not going to be guarding each other. I could see Ant picking up Steph, though, low-key.
Yeah.
But I would love to see that matchup in the next round. I think that did you hear the story about how Ant's one of his trainers, maybe his strength coach or someone, had been sending him Jordan clips of Jordan in the playoffs, and he had been telling him like, "Hey, the only way for you to beat the king is to go through the king.
Yeah,
you can't go around him, you can't go under, you can't go over. You have to go through him." And so I loved watching that in the series of Anthony Edwards just going at LeBron. Mm-hmm. He wasn't looking for a lot of switches off. He wasn't going for a lot of BS. He's like, I'm coming at LeBron straight up. Mm-hmm. Great to see Ant do his thing. Sad for my Lakers, but game is game. Mm-hmm. What do you think of the series?
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you about the Ant sentiment. Like, Ant has just his confidence level has just been on a different level, dude. It is up. He is talking the talk, walking the walk. There's not a lot that you can say about this man negatively. He's a great teammate. Yeah, bro. Ant is like it might genuinely be one of those things in my opinion, where it's similar to the Miami Heat. I think nobody really coming into this playoff series thought the Timberwolves were going to be much of a threat, right?
They were underdogs every game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might be one of those things where you have Jimmy Butler,
Playoff Ant?
We might have a playoff Ant, man. I could wholeheartedly see with his confidence level. This is a man who told Barack Obama to stand down. All right? That clip resurfaced just the other day, and I was like, that is crazy. Yeah, that man, he doesn't let nobody talk down on his game. He might be a young player, but in his mind, he's a vet. He is just, his confidence is on a different level. And I think that the league needs to start watching out for him.
Are you more excited to see Ant walk down another legend in Curry, or are you more excited to see playoff Ant versus playoff Jimmy?
Man, that's a great question. I think seeing him kind of build his legacy off of beating other legends is I think that's a phenomenal plot line, bro. If he can beat Steph, that's another stone in the gauntlet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
That's another stone. So I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Anthony Edwards is one of my favorite players in the league right now, and I've been loving watching Ant work. Man, he's been something. He has, and for such a young player to have confidence like that is crazy. But we can't get too far ahead of ourselves, man. The Rockets are still in this thing, right? Game 7, the Rockets are still there. So I don't want to just speak it. I don't want to speak it into existence, and then Steph goes 0 for 8. You know, it could happen. Who knows? On the opposite side of the spectrum, all the Eastern Conference matches are set for round 2. We got Cavs versus Pacers. The Pacers took care of the Bucks. Did you see one that to close the series? That last like 40 seconds was insane of basketball. Gary Trent Jr. with one of the craziest fumbles I've ever seen. For a guy who's been that hot. You know, for a guy who's been playing that well, Gary Trent Jr. dropping that ball. That was so tough, man. But the Pacers, do you think they have a chance against the Cavs?
I'm gonna be so real, bro. I don't think. I mean, the Bucks are nowhere on the same stratosphere as the Cavs.
I agree with that.
They are. We've talked about it several times on this pod. The drop off from 1 and 2 in the East is insane. So the competition that the Pacers face in the first round is going to be on a completely different level in the second round.
Elevated, yeah.
And I just don't know if the Pacers are on that tier. So I can't see them winning this series. However, I do think they will put up a better fight than Miami.
Yeah, that Miami series was rough.
Yeah,
that was rough. Man. That was rough to watch.
It was bad, bro.
Call the series. What do you got?
I got Cavs in 5. I do. I have Cavs in 5. I want to speak more highly on the Pacers than that, but the Cavs are they're a tough team, man. They're so tough.
I agree with you, Cavs in 5. Yeah, I think Cavs in 5 is a pretty solid lock. I might go Cavs in 6 and say if the Pacers can steal a home game, I think they win 1 in Indiana.
Okay.
I think Indiana gives the Pacers a crazy power for some reason. Whenever they're like playing at home in like playoff situations with that crowd backing them, man, they're on a different tier. So I can completely see them winning at least 1 game in Indiana, but maybe if they could steal 1 in Cleveland, I think that would be. I could see Cavs in 6, but like I could see them putting up a little bit of a fight. You know the next series, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna let you take the reins here for Celtics, Knicks. What's the series? What do the Knicks need to do?
Man, next
Can
series.
they count on Captain Clutch?
Yeah, but you can't count on him for everything. You know, that's gonna be a big thing. We're gonna have to rely on him, but he can't do it all. His team has to help him out. The players that we brought in to be star players need to be star players.
I agree with
that. The star players that are on the Celtics consistently show up as star players. The role players that are supposed to show up on the Celtics show up as role players. Everybody who is brought in New York needs to play their role and play it at an elite level. In this series in order for them to have a chance. So, Mikal, we need you to come in and be the guy that we saw get traded to Brooklyn and go off, okay? We need Mikal big time. We need you to be the guy we traded 5 first-round picks for, okay? We need you. We need Cat.
What Cat do you want to see? Do you want to see bully ball Cat, or do you want to see 3-point shooting Cat against Porzingis Al Horford?
So I think bully ball Cat worked at times in the Detroit series because Detroit played small. They played small ball a lot in that series. I think that worked, and he didn't even capitalize on it as much as he should have in that series. With Tobias Harris on you, you definitely should have been doing more.
Tobias Harris over me.
So yeah, man, I think you almost have to be a 3-point threat in this series, especially if you have Porzingis on you, because Porzingis on anybody, you're good luck taking it into the paint on him.
So long and so athletic.
Yeah. So I think Cat is going to have to be a perimeter threat, a consistent perimeter threat, and then outside of that, drawing fouls. I think he's going to have to draw fouls.
If he can get Porzingis in foul trouble, I think he could play bully ball on Al Horford.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Mm-hmm. He's going to have to get KP in foul trouble. I think we're going to have to get a lot of their stars in foul trouble, to be honest with you. Like,
and Brunson, some of the role players.
Listen, Brunson takes a lot of flack for his flopping. I get it. Sometimes for me as a fan, it's hard to watch. Okay,
but now you need it.
But now we need it. Now we need it. We need you to draw fouls. We need you to draw charges. We need to get some of those guys out of there, divide and conquer. It's going to be very interesting for me to watch this series because I know in order for us to win, we have to play a little bit differently than how we've played
for sure
all season and all postseason. We're gonna have to find other ways to win other than just playing our best and hoping for the best. Because this team all around,
they're so
1 through 15 are so good.
They're such a deep team, dude.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got the series?
The series. The optimist in me, dude, I said it last episode, there's just really no reality in which I can see my team winning. I say best case scenario, Celtics in 6.
Okay.
But I could wholeheartedly see Celtics in 5.
Yeah.
I do. I could see it.
I think you guys need OG. Mm-hmm. You guys need OG
yeah.
to play like he was playing with Brunson out, like he was playing with you guys need that OG. You need Jordan Poole OG.
Jordan Poole OG needs to show
up. That's the OG you need.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, the depth, the activity, the defense, everything about the Celtics is just so on the next level, man. I think best case scenario, Knicks in 6.
Okay.
Not Knicks in 6. Sorry, Boston. Boston in 6.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
But realistically, in worst case scenario, after watching how the Knicks played against Detroit, keeping that young Detroit team around, getting basically like the Pistons kind of got cheated out of 2 games, and then in the last game, they very well could have won that game.
Yeah.
I don't think you can't give the Celtics those type of opportunities.
No.
The Celtics could sweep.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they come out the way that they did against Detroit, that Celtics is a clean sweep.
Yeah.
Celtics in 4. My thing, though, is with Brunson and the clutch mentality, I think he knows that there's going to be another gear that he and this team just has to take. And I think as this leader, he can bring them up to that mentality, and that's why I think they could take a game or 2 off of that mentality shift. But if they come out against Detroit, if they come out the way that they did against Detroit, that's a sweep.
But in that sentence, in that sentiment of Brunson picking it up last 5 minutes of the game, I think that worked against Detroit because Detroit doesn't have they have some solid defenders on their team, but they don't have a Drew Holiday.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. They don't have a Tatum, a Brown.
Yeah.
I don't think Brunson's going to get his buckets. You know what I mean? In that last little bit. I don't know if he's going to be able to take over the game like that against the Celtics.
Yeah.
They're too good defensively, and they all move on a string. They're way too good. And I think that, the size of KP is going to bother him getting in for that little floater or that little... There were times where, Isaiah Stewart was getting up there. You know, there were times where, the Pistons were getting blocks on him. You can't do that against Tatum, against KP, against Drew Holiday. I see them giving him some issues in that last little bit.
100%.
Speaking of that, what was your take on the Brunson game winner against the Pistons?
That was, man, it was, I don't know. It was a great shot, man. I don't know. Like he dropped off his defender. It looked like a clean drop too to me. It was a clean snatch back. Got himself a wide open look, and that's another thing that I was just going to touch on is that he did that in the clutch to a extremely good defender, an extremely good young defender in Ausar Thompson.
That's what I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Do you think Ausar Thompson should have been guarding him in that moment?
Because he's young.
From my coaching standpoint, right? I was talking to one of my buddies about this. We were watching the game, and at that time, I was like, I don't think Ausar Thompson should be guarding him right now. I love Ausar Thompson. I understand that he is a great defender. He's young, he's long, he's athletic, but he's so young.
Yeah.
And being in that playoff series in that environment,
oh man,
against the clutch player of the year, I think Brunson came out. He saw Ausar Thompson on him, and he went barbecue chicken.
Yeah,
this is mine.
Oh man,
I think they should have put
Dennis Schroeder on Jalen Brunson would have it would have changed the entire series. Maybe
Brunson can still kind of get off a shot over him. I think they should have went big. They should have went. Malik Beasley. They should have went Hardaway Jr.
Yeah.
Even Tobias Harris. Run him off the three. That would have been my thing. Crowd him. Get him off the three. I'll get a Brunson fadeaway or a Brunson floater in the lane. Because after that, Detroit had, about 10 seconds left? I'll get that with 10 seconds left in a timeout. You give Cade the ball, tie the game. Tie the game from mid-range. Cade every time.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I will take the risk on that as a coach. Putting Ausar Thompson out there is like, it's trying to give him his moment, almost. It's like you're either going to have your moment and you're going to shut down Jalen Brunson right here, or you're going to be put on the highlight reel for the next 10 years. And
the latter happened.
Yeah. So from a coaching standpoint, I was like, great on Brunson for recognizing it. But for JB, I gotta switch that, dog. I'm sorry, Ausar. I know you want this assignment, but I gotta switch that with this game. In an elimination game in the playoffs, I gotta switch that.
Yeah. Dennis Schroeder on Jalen in that on that final shot. I think we might have been talking about a game 7. I'm not gonna lie to you. Dennis Schroeder was giving him so many problems on offense and defense. It was. Yeah, he looked like a Brunson.
What a good player.
He looked like a Brunson stopper out there, real life. That was his
player. I love Dennis Schroeder.
And Brunson knew about it too, because you could tell he would come up on the other end and try to take some revenge shots. You could see it because they were just bad shots.
Yeah,
they were just shots that looked like heat checks, And I'm just like, okay,
it's like heat check after you missed the last two. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You can't just do that. But yeah, it really did seem like Brunson knew that he was, he was getting under his skin a little bit. And then also, I just want to talk about Malik Beasley's drop at the end of the game, and that is just, and it's
the same thing that Gary Trent did.
Yeah,
it's essentially the exact same play. Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? And just Detroit, I think I think a lot of it is just being young, and I think even their youth rubs off on their vets a little bit, because I just saw like some crazy. Jalen Duren in 2 different games in this playoff series, I think, threw the ball out of bounds at the end of the game in a close game. Yeah. So, it's just like little mistakes.
That youth definitely killed the Pistons.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, but all that being said, we cannot come out the way that we went.
That close.
You cannot do that with Boston if you want to win any of the games in this series. And if you do, like you said, I can see a sweep.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then to give a little bit more with the Celtics get the Magic, man. I just don't really see. I didn't really see that as a series. I think I might only watch like one of the games. That was one of those. It should have been a sweep, honestly. But, Magic get a game. Or did they win 2? No, they
won one.
Yeah, they got one.
And that's something that I actually had thought about too, for us to maybe pull some games out in the series. Maybe there's like a little bit of that. Okay, well, we just played the Magic.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
and we just played the Magic, and we've had some time to rest. We've been waiting on this series.
A little drop off.
Maybe a little drop off. Maybe a little rust. Right? Maybe they come out a little bit flat. Maybe we steal game one because of that. Right?
New York will riot in the streets.
Yeah.
If they win game.
If they win game one, and if
New York will riot.
And if that happens, I think if we can win game one in Boston because they come out flat, I think maybe we're talking a different series. But that is going to have to be. It's 100% going to have to be Boston shooting themselves in the foot throughout the series for us to win. That's what 100%. That is what we are going to have to bank on.
You guys might need a Tatum Achilles tear.
Yeah,
you guys might need something catastrophic to happen.
Yes.
To get Boston out in the second round.
Yes, for sure.
That's everything we got.
That's our episode.
That's episode 8?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's episode 8.
Oh my god.
I know.
Episode 8.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one.
Peace.